And welcome back to Spicer and Company. I'm Tom Basili in for Sean Spicer. Remember last summer when violent looters took over the streets of Democrat-run cities? Storefronts were smashed, cop cars and buildings were set ablaze, and people died, all in the name of justice. One estimate late last year put the cost of the BLM riots at more than $1 billion. But justice isn't being served at all. In New York City, those looters are being let off the hook. Out of 118 arrests, 73 have been dismissed, and not one criminal has been sent to jail over the riots. Crime rates in major cities are through the roof. Just this past weekend, we saw shootings at Juneteenth celebrations across the country, leaving 5 dead and more than a dozen wounded. And that's not all. There were another 50 shootings in Chicago, leaving 5 dead and 47 wounded. 3 dead in Philadelphia this weekend, another 50 shootings across the nation. Here to react is the host of Stacy on the Right and the co-chair of Project 21, Stacy Washington. Stacy, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So these Democrat cities are sending a message, hey, you want to stage a violent protest, you want to burn, you want to loot, you want to riot, it's basically okay. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's an extension of their whole no cash bail program where you assault someone on the street, you get arrested, and you're back out in 15 minutes. You're not held in jail. You're not disincentivized from committing crime. This is worse, though, because the people who were most harmed by that were the ones who lost their sense of peace and safety, the business owners who had their businesses looted, who, contrary to popular belief, the insurance is not guaranteed to cover that. So they lost merchandise, they lost actual time where their business was closed so that it could be repaired. And then there's the overall sense of malaise that is plaguing New York City right now. There's just a lot of outgoing and not a lot of incoming. People are not willing to move to New York anymore for opportunities. So this is a serious situation. It's also the ushering in of a sense of lawlessness. And I can't believe that Democrats, I'm talking about just regular run-of-the-mill Democrats, people who live around here, because I live in a very politically mixed area, people across the country who live next door to each other and they don't care about each other's politics. I can't believe they think this is the right way to do things. And a lot of these people who they're on tape, they're on video, they actually have posted videos of themselves where they were rioting and looting, and they posted it to their own social media. So prosecution here shouldn't be that difficult. So I'm not sure why they're doing this.
You know, this was the first official Juneteenth that was recognized by our federal government, which is fantastic, but it was plagued with violence. Does this show, many people say this shows that we have a race problem in our country, or does it show that we have a crime problem, Stacy?
So, first of all, we don't have a race problem because I'm sitting here talking to the two of you. Tonight, I'll be on the radio for 3 hours talking to millions of people across the country of every race, creed, and background. I'll even be talking to people in 14 provinces in Canada. So we don't have a race problem. What we have is a crime problem. And the crime problem is exacerbated by areas where they refuse to prosecute. So, you know, George Soros had his run of the way, like he just was funding campaigns of these Soros prosecutors, and they've been entrenched now. And their aim is to usher in what we're seeing now. Leftists can violently protest with impunity, but people on the right are demonized simply for existing or simply for being at workplaces and not wanting to be indoctrinated. So it's a two-tiered system, and we should be standing up against it. There's no way that God-fearing Americans, agnostic Americans, any kind of American at all, should be okay with one person being prosecuted for a crime and the person next to them who commits the same crime walking away with no consequence.
Stacy, I have to get your take on this. 11 mayors a couple of days ago have now vowed to implement pilot programs for reparation payments for descendants of slaves in their cities. This is some of the biggest cities in the country, too. But according to a poll done by the University of Massachusetts Amherst, nearly 2/3 of Americans opposed those payments. One study pegged a national reparations program at costing up to $13 trillion. I'm not even sure any of this is really legal at the end of the day. To me, it seems to smack about more manipulation of the black community by the left. I'd like to get your thoughts.
Well, so I actually thought that the Juneteenth national holiday was a good thing until I looked and saw what it was called. And, you know, so I still support the holiday, but it's called National Independence Day, which we don't need another National Independence Day. That's July the 4th. And I'm mentioning that because these things all come together. They're in a timeline, and it's an intentional misrepresentation of what the Democrats stand for. President Trump, when he was in office, he gave the highest median income for a household of 4 Biden, he's in office, he's the president, he's giving Black Americans nothing. The unemployment rate is not where it should be. The median household income for a family of four is going in the wrong direction, and jobs are being destroyed instead of being created. Lumber costs are up. The cost of everything is up. And the cereal boxes are getting tiny, y'all. My husband noticed. You know they're small when my husband notices. Because, I mean, he just picks the food up. He doesn't actually order it on Instacart. So what I'm saying is, this is just another attempt for them to paper over their lack of performance in the Black community. They don't actually deliver anything for us. And when I say us, you know, I may live in the suburbs, but I'm still Black, and I'm a part of the community of America. But according to the anthropological data and the way that we're divided off on the government forms, I'm in the Black community as well. I expect Joe Biden to do as much for me as he will for people in the LGBT community, the white community, whatever community he's pandering to, he should be pandering to me too as the president. But he's not doing that. We're getting holidays. Other communities are getting actual policy that I'm not sure if it benefits like the union workers, the oil and natural gas workers. They're getting the short end of the stick like us Black people, but he has his favorites and none of it's good.
Stacy Washington, always appreciate having you with us.
Thanks.